Agago.
Right. Yeah. Hey. What's my mate, there's a good son, then I just saw that man. Nego, you will take a day.
Good morning, sons and daughters of the Most High. This is your brother Chukwemeka. Part of what we do in this channel is to dismantle the ignorance that our people show, especially towards one another and towards our tradition. Because if you're trying to convince the people to come back to a tradition, you have to make them understand the reason the tradition is there and how beneficial it is to them. Unfortunately, one of the reasons our people do not like our tradition or kind of turn back their backs against our tradition is because of the lies of Christianity. Christianity are the ones that colonize our people. They lie to our people and convince them to go out and destroy their own tradition. So for us to achieve getting our people back to the ways of our ancestors, we have to dismantle the lies of Christianity in our community. And when we say coming back to tradition, it's very funny, but people usually think that we mean living in mud houses, eating with earthen vessels and the rest of them. That is totally ridiculous. Tradition can be evolved. The Japanese evolved their tradition from the ancient ways to the modern ways. The Chinese did the same thing. The Filipinos, the Asiatic people, they basically did the same thing. Even the Europeans, most of what they do today is still their ancient tradition, and they just found a way to make it modern. Tradition is the way of life of a people. It changes with technology, it changes with the time. But if you stay true to your tradition, it determines your longevity on earth. Please pay attention to what I'm saying. If you stay true to your tradition, then you are going to have a higher longevity on this planet, because the Most High made it very clear that those who go against what He has commanded us to what He has put in place will be rooted from the land. And again, look at the irony of it. Today, the Igbo people are crying that they are being displaced by the Hausas and the Fulanis. The Fulanis are invading them. We are crying that the Fulanis are invading us. We are crying that the Yorubas are intimidating us. These Fulanis, Hausas and Yorubas, they have not deviated from their tradition like we have. They have stayed true to the ways of their fathers. We abandoned our tradition and went after Christianity. Why is Christianity not helping us? As they say in Igbo land, sometimes you ask yourself, what we are doing, what's going to become of our community in the next 500 years? Would there be an Igbo community in the next 500 years if we continue in this madness? I don't think so. But anyway, we will do our job, and our job is to call our people back to our tradition, to our way of life. You can be a Christian and you still be an Igbo man. It doesn't preclude that. You can be a Buddhist and you still be an Igbo man, because you are an Igbo first. The Most High identifies you as an Igbo. He doesn't identify you as any. In the Bible, people are not identified as what they worship or the religion they practice. They are identified by their tribes. That is what the Most High knows. The Most High created families. He did not create religion. But back to the topic today. Today we want to talk about masquerade in Igbo land. Masquerade is one of the things that our people have shown great ignorance to. But if you think about a society, how a society is run, you understand that something like masquerade is universal. Every community in the world has it. And there's a reason for that. There are Igbo people today that will not even go near any Igbo masquerade. Ijele, Nagaba, Ato. Anyone. They won't even go near any of it. But they'll carry their children and go and play with Mickey Mouse. So their children will be watching Barney. They will be watching some other mutilated entity the Europeans show them. They'll be watching Harry Potter. the vampire series or whatever that one is called. Mickey Mouse is a European masquerade. There are even Igbos that say, "Oh, we are Christians, but they go to parties where they wear masquerade balls. If any of those brain dead people sit down just 1 second and look at the history, the origin of that process, they will know that our masquerades in Igbo land are saints compared to those demonic entities that Europeans bring. But anyway, the reason masquerade is this in community is you have to imagine a community without television, without external influence. That community will have to find a way to put everyone in line, to educate everyone, especially the youths with their raging hormones. The masquerade and the masquerade society exists in our communities in those days, mostly to educate the youths. For instance, when a young boy gets to puberty, he joins a masquerade society. Um, depending on the community you are in, it could be the Ekpe masquerade society, it could be the Amangolo, Ajalita, as they call it around the Okanri area. It could be anything, whatever the community has. When you join a society like that based on your age, you've gotten to puberty, you've gotten to the age where you need to be responsible as a man. When you're part of that society, you are tested on secrecy. Because every community has to. In our community in those days, we don't have classified things as confidential or national security or whatever. It's just something similar. But when you join this masquerade society, you are obligated to keep the secrets of the community. If you can keep the secret of a masquerade, you can keep the secret that comes up in life. This is preparation for life. When you join a masquerade society, you're not supposed to tell who is carrying a masquerade. If it's a human, everybody knows that it's a human being, it's somebody that's carrying the masquerade. But you're not supposed to tell that. That is a law. So that teaches secrecy to people. You understand that there are things that are confidential in the community. It must not be told. You are taught discipline. If you're going to be part of a masquerade, you're going to carry a masquerade, you're supposed to be disciplined. You're supposed to show up at a certain place at a certain time. This was the way we trained our young male and female to prepare for life, because life is not a joke. It has nothing to do with evil or worshipping idols or nothing. Nothing. This is the way you train your population to be disciplined. That's just why these masquerades exist in the first place. And more importantly, they are there for entertainment. They just entertain people. There's a masquerade when I was young. There's a masquerade called Ayolo. All it does, it just goes from house to house, entertain people. It dances for people. It's just fun. Keeps the community going. Again, you have to envisage a life without television. People were entertained in different ways. Just like you have this dirty crap they call Borley and all the rest of them today. You assume they're there for entertainment, but if you look at their history, you just throw up. The masquerades of our communities do not have that kind of history. The masquerades are there to teach people that you are a son of the soil, you have responsibility to your community, and you have to keep the secret of the community and of your family as well. It doesn't matter what goes on. When I was part of this masquerade society, if I am carrying a masquerade, nobody will know. My parents will not know that I am preparing to even carry a masquerade and go. None of them will know that. I was taught to keep things a secret. So it's for educational purposes. So it's for educational purposes. There are also spiritual connotations to the masquerade as well. For instance, what we call masquerade in Igbo land is Mongo. Again, you should look at the etymology. Ma Ongo, the beauty of death. In what we call humans, living beings in Igbo land is Ma Ndo, the beauty of life. Do you see the similarity? In Igbo land, in our culture, especially if you read the book of Olaudah Ekwuonu, we believe that our ancestors who have passed to the higher realm, they are with us. That is why, brothers and sisters, when you're eating, or when you're supposed to eat your meal, the major meal of the day, which is the dinner in Igbo land, you have to put out something, just like a small drop of soup or something, to your ancestors. Let them eat. This is what the Europeans call communion of the saints. This is extremely important. I will discuss this some other time in a separate video because it requires a separate teaching of its own. But in Igbo land, you have to understand, in our community, the land is shared by the living and the dead. That's the good dead, or not the evil ones. The evil ones are supposed to be thrown to Ajago, the evil forest. But the good and ancestors who passed to the realm of the ancestors, they are with us. That is our belief. It doesn't matter what the Chinese believe or what the Europeans believe. This is our own belief. We believe, and it works for us. That's why I'll do a separate video on it. The dead, our ancestors who have passed to the great beyond, their spirits are with us. That's why masquerades represent these spirits. That masquerade is called Mma Onwu, the beauty of death. Just like Madu, those who are living, Mma Ndu, that is the beauty of life. You have to look at the etymology of words to understand what they meant to the ancients. Because staying close to the ways of your ancestors is the only way you survive on the land. That is very clear. That's what the Bible said. It's very clear. Anyway, I wanted to explain the idea of masquerade. Next time you see an Igbo masquerade, you should observe that it is there for entertainment. It is there for educational purposes. You don't go out and begin to tell. When they say Onyata na Mon, that's all. Igbos know that you are supposed to be on code. You are not supposed to reveal whatever has been discussed. And this were all, people were trained to do that in masquerade society. I mean, if you don't believe me, teach your children, teach your teenagers not to reveal what you tell them. They will reveal it tomorrow. But if they are in this is how community used to set up a people, a generation, to abide by the ways of the fathers and keep the secrets of the community. And if you don't understand it, you continue to be an ignorant person. You think they're just doing juju or something. No, these are people who are just abiding by their lives and even keeping your community intact. Ignorance is a deadly disease, and most times, most people who display that disease, they don't really know that they are ignorant of something. They are, especially in Igbo land, we have a very loud, ignorant majority. We have people who don't know what they're talking about, and they'll be very loud saying what they're saying, but they don't really know what they're saying. It's good to educate yourself. It's really on the traditional ways of life. If some people will run away from Igbo land and run to Lagos or run to America or run to UK, saying that if they come home they will kill them. Look, if somebody wants to kill you, it doesn't matter where you run to. Spiritually, it can affect you. The fact that they have not killed you means that they can't. Maybe your ancestors are protecting you. Maybe your spirit is stronger. Maybe you are innocent. The Igbo land protects the innocent. And I'll do a video. My next video will be on Ajana. I'll do a video on Ajana to explain this. But the most I bless you, I will show. So, okay, I want to add here. If you take a look at the Igbo masquerade, like I said, it's the etymology explains what it meant to the ancients. Mongo means the beauty of the dead. Madu, the beauty of the living. That's the Igbo word for the living and the dead. That's the Igbo word for masquerade as well. Mongo, that's the beauty of the dead. So the masquerade itself, in every society, there are masquerades that represent different stages of human development. There are masquerades that represent that. There are masquerades that represent children. In my community, it's called Umuada. That's the name of the masquerade that represents children. And it's only carried by children. Children do this and they dance with it and the rest of them. And that masquerade only comes out when the Ijele is about to come out. So it basically introduces the Ijele. That's the Umuada masquerade. And there's a bunch of kids, which we all did when we were young. And this masquerade, like I said, only comes out when the Ijele wants to come out. And as you all know, the Ijele is a feminine masquerade. Okay, it's the mother of the masquerade. It's feminine, it's not masculine. So We also have the masquerade that represents women. It's called uh, Adamma masquerade. It represents women, even though those who carry it are masculine. The masquerade itself represents the feminine form of life, and it's very entertaining. We have masquerade that represents pre-adolescent, pre-adolescent stage of life. It's called the Ulaga, right? Ulaga represents, that pre-teen period, the children at that time. Then we have a masquerade that also represents the adulthood, the teenage life, adulthood, and the functioning part of your life, like from your 30s to your 50s or something. And those are masquerades such as Atu, Agaba. There are different names of specific masquerades in different communities, but they all make up this band of masquerade. You can basically group them into different stages. For instance, when you have Olaga, which is the pre-adulthood masquerade, you have Ayolo, which is the teenage masquerade. Basically, it represents the flimsiness of teenage life. Yeah, you have Atu, which represents adulthood, the radicality of adulthood. It's a very, very fierce masquerade, and most times when you have an Atu masquerade, it has to be guarded. There's a rope. Somebody will have to hold you to the rope, because at that stage of human life, you can go in any direction. You can do this or do that. You're filled with energy. You're filled with hormones. You're filled with a whole lot of passion that if you're not held down, you can go beyond the borders you're supposed to go. Those are things that the masquerade represents. And these are things that when you see in a masquerade, you sit down and explain life, the stages of life to your children. That's why I say the masquerade is an educational moment between you and your next generation. Okay. Then you have the masquerades for the more matured ones, a masquerade like Ijele, which comes out gradually. And this also transmits respect for elderly in our community. And in this case, like I said, the Ijele is a feminine elderly, it's a feminine masquerade, it's not a masculine masquerade. We also have in different villages, like in my community, we have a masquerade for the elder, as older men. Those masquerades don't come out at any time. They only come out when, what I would call a coronation of the saints. Maybe somebody in the community who has lived a life of dignity and the person died at a very ripe old age. When the person dies, that kind of masquerade can come out and dance a very elegant dance to show the dignity of life and a mature old age. That's what in my community we have such a masquerade. It's called Ikoto. It was stolen by the Europeans, but I saw it once. I actually saw it only once in my entire life. So there are other communities that have something similar as well. So this masquerade represents different stage of human life and the things that is done for this masquerade represent the things that we do for both our children, our adolescents, our preteens, and our elderly. That's just the evolution of life. Just looking at the Igbo masquerade, you can clearly understand the evolution of life in society. But again, most people don't really look at it in that holistic view. They just see it as something that portrays charm, which it really doesn't actually. The masquerade never does that. But I was fortunate enough to be part of the masquerade society in my day when I was living in the village, and I wish things like that would continue because I think my children will benefit from it. And it's our responsibility to make sure that things like this continue.